Hey guys, welcome to Top Table Gaming, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you guys about the next 4 models or sets you should buy to add to the Pelennor Fields box. Welcome guys, you're here with your host Top Table Ben, and as I said in the intro, I'm going to be talking you through the next 4 additions you should be making to add to the evil side of the Pelennor Fields box to help you make full armies that comply with match play rules. So we all know that the Pelennor Fields box is an outstanding bargain for the money, as it includes the full rulebook, a quick start guide for some simple scenarios, and a ton of models. But once you've built and painted it all, I'm sure you'll be itching to bulk out your armies, and with so many options out there, it might be easy to get overwhelmed if you're new to the game. Although this isn't a definitive list of what you should buy or try and pick up, it will give you some idea of what will work well with the army you've already got if you're unsure. You are of course going to need the profiles for these models first and foremost, and for the ones I'm including in this video, you're going to need both the armies of the Lord of the Rings and Gondor at War books. First up, you're going to want to add a dismount for your Witch-king. Hopefully your Witch-king won't get dismounted off his fell beast, because that's normally bad news for you, but when it does happen, you're going to need a foot model to represent this. Although it is possible to use the mounted model without the fell beast profile in friendly games, you will be at a significant disadvantage with the big base size, so it's always worth trying to use the appropriate models where you can. The Witch-king on foot and mounted has recently been made available again as part of a multi-pack of named wraiths. These are a bargain and will not only add the Witch-king on foot and horse, but also give you access to 2 other wraiths to play with, which will also complement your army. Remember, it doesn't necessarily need to be the armoured Witch-king model that you use. You could always use any of the robed or black rider wraiths you're representing, especially if it's a friendly game. If you want to attend tournaments, it's always worth checking with the tournament organiser first to make sure they're okay with it, as ultimately they will have the last say, but in all honesty, I can't see any having an issue with this. The Witch-king can add some real tactical flexibility if played well. Not only is he a strong caster, but kitted out in the right way, check out the Crown and Morgul rules, he can be a combat beast too. By using both, you can really get the most out of this big bad of the Pelennor Fields. Next up, I'd look to add some extra support for your Morannon Orcs in the form of a Morannon Orc Commander Pack, which includes an Orc Drummer, a Shaman, a Banner Bearer and a Captain. In particular, you want to add the Captain and a banner to your ranks. The Captain has 2 might points, has access to Heroic March, and the ability to lead 12 troops in match play games. And the Banner Bearer will be invaluable in giving you a dual reroll if you need it. They will also look incredibly thematic amongst your Morannon Orc horde. You also get a Shaman, which will come in handy for casting Fury to help your Orcs pass courage tests. Very useful against terrifying opponents such as the Army of the Dead, which you will, I have no doubt, come up against. Next up, I'd personally opt for 2 named captains. Now, the main difference between your unnamed captains and your named captains is that named captains will generally have an additional point of might compared to their unnamed counterparts. Some will also have some special rules which can make them a little more useful as part of your army. And although they are a little more expensive point-wise, more often than not, I would take them over an unnamed captain. My personal favourites, and to follow along with the Pelennor Fields theme, are Gurrit and Gothmog's Enforcer, who fight alongside Gothmog in the films. You can get other named heroes such as Goroth and Zagdush, but if you're going for theme, as I generally prefer, these are the guys to go for. You can pick these wonderful models up off the Forge World website, and although Forge World is seen as being a little bit more advanced than regular Games Workshop miniatures, they're pretty straightforward if you prepare them in the right way, and I've personally never had any issues with them. There are loads of guides online about how to prepare Forge World resin, so before you buy them, I definitely go and check them out to make sure you're prepared. The rules for these guys can be found in the Gondor at War book, but if you take a look at the Forge World website, you can find the rules there, which will save you from having to buy the full book for only 2 profiles. You can thank me later. Not only are these beautiful, exquisitely sculpted models, but by Forge World, they fit in well with the Pelennor Fields theme, and have some awesome special abilities as well. Gurrit, for example, has a rule called Master of Reserves, which helps out with your rolls when deploying in a Maelstrom of Battle scenario. Using this deployment, there is a chance that your warbands can end up coming onto the board at different points, meaning that some can be isolated or cut off from the rest of your army. Master of Reserves alters your rolls slightly, which might just give you an advantage over your opponent. Gothmog's Enforcer doesn't have the typical 3 might that a named captain might, but he does have 3 will points, which can be used by Gothmog when he's within 3 inches to call a heroic move. Gothmog can then save his other valuable might store to call heroic combats, strikes, or to bump up some rolls, making them extra deadly. Last but not least, I'd add Gothmog to your collection, who comes as a foot and mounted model. Not only is he a fantastic leader for your army, he synergizes really well with the heroes I've previously mentioned, and has some cool special rules himself. His Master of Battle special rule allows him to essentially copy enemy heroes' heroics for free when he's within 6 inches. Not only will this save you valuable might points when your opponent calls heroic moves or strikes nearby, it will also make them be a little bit more careful about where they position their heroes and when they use their might. His "The Time of the Orc Has Come" special rule can be declared once per game and allows all Mordor orcs within 12 inches of Gothmog to reroll failed wounds. This can be super useful when you really need a turn to turn the tide of battle and make sure you get some wounds in. He also gives nearby orcs within 3 inches the Hatred special rule for men. With this, the Age of Men is Over special rule. Although it's very situational, it can be very useful when you're facing an army of men and you get to add 1 to your wound roll. From Strength 4 Morin orcs, this can be deadly. So what I really love about the models I've suggested above, other than the Witch-king, is that they can all be used as part of the Army of Gothmog Legendary Legion, which gives them extra bonuses over taking them as part of the normal Mordor army. First up, Gothmog counts as a hero of legend, meaning he can lead up to 18 warriors in his warband. Definitely not to be sniffed at when numbers are really important in this game. Secondly, Gothmog's "The Age of Men is Over" special rule extends from 3 to a massive 12 inches. This means that this aura should cover the majority of your army, granting you that +1 to wound against men over a huge area of the battlefield. Last but not least, he gains the Tyrannical Rule special rule, which means that orc heroes can benefit from Gothmog's Standfast. In an army of low courage models, this can be invaluable and will make sure that your army has a much higher chance of sticking around after they have broken. So there we have it. Our Pelennor Fields army has been fleshed out with models that you need to make some match play armies. Now, what about some lists to get you started? These may not be the most competitive lists out there, but they'll definitely give you a solid themed foundation to work on, and obviously you can make some tweaks and changes to these lists based on your play experience. Let's start at the low level of 500 points of the Army of Gothmog Legendary Legion. At this points level, you can get Gothmog on a Warg, Gurits and Gothmog's Enforcer leading a banner, and 26 Morin orcs with various war gear. This list gives you a reasonable number, a solid troop option, a banner, potentially loads of might, and some great buffs from your solid leader. You may want to look at swapping the Enforcer for an Orc Shaman though, if you think you'll be coming up against some terrifying opponents. To bump this army up to 600, all you need to do is simply add the troll from the Pelennor Fields set into a warband. Now let's take a look at a bigger army which includes the Witch-king. This time we'll look at an 800 point army from the Mordor list. At this level you can get the Witch-king on Fellbeast with the Crown of Borgul with 2 extra points of might, 4 will and 2 fate, Gothmog on Warg and Gurits leading a banner, 33 Morin orcs with various war gear and a troll. Whilst there isn't a huge number of models in this army, you do have a few scary things in there, including the Witch-king, Gothmog and a troll, which a lot of armies will struggle to deal with all at once. Use the Witch-king to help control big enemy heroes, and don't be too afraid to get Gothmog stuck in, as in this army he isn't your leader. So that's it folks, what did you think of my choices for your next purchases? And what do you think of my sample army list? Is there anything you'd like to change? Is there anything that you'd include differently? And did you find this useful for helping bulk out your army? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video.